Well guys, beautiful time of year out here in central Ontario, Canada. The weather is starting to get cooler, way more comfortable to be outside. I can get outside and do what I like to do, saw some wood, cut some wood, and well, build all my other projects, and I'm not sweating buckets. One thing I'm doing today is something that I've been waiting a long time for, and I know many of you have probably been waiting the exact same amount of time, and that is to get your hands on something that's going to make using your sawmill, if you own one of these Woodland Mills sawmills, a whole lot easier. What that comes down to is this. You guys see this right here? The cranking up and down. You guys know what that's for. It's for raising and lowering the saw head. Well, today, luckily, because we're now into that fall period, look what has made its way to me. The HM130 and HM130 Max Power Head Kit. So, in my factory tour, when I took you guys through Woodland Mills, I showed you that they had a showroom model of an HM130 Max with the Power Head Kit on it. Well, that was fine and dandy. I got to try it out, but I didn't actually get my hands on one until just now. I'm going to take some time today. I'm going to unbox it for the first time, put it onto my sawmill, and I'm going to see what it's all about. It looked good in the showroom, but you can never really tell until it gets into your possession and onto your mill. So glad you guys are here to join me. Here we go. All right, here goes. I didn't really know what to expect, so I just threw a bunch of tools into a pail, brought it out here. This will be my first time opening this up. All right, it's like a new present on Christmas here. What do we got here? The Sawmill Accessory Power Head Kit. So this one works with the HM130 Max and the HM130 sawmills. And if you guys get a good look at it, that's essentially what we're dealing with. Now this is not a huge, heavy assembly manual, which leads me to believe there's probably not going to be a ton to it. One thing that's looking nice is always they tend to color coordinate their manuals, which makes it quite a bit easier for guys like me. All right, normally I'd just throw these away, but truthfully I want it to be installed correctly, so we're going to hold on to that and let's see what we're dealing with. Okay, that is a beautiful thing. That's all one piece. There's certainly some weight to that. All right, so that must be the electric motor. This gets the power to the electric motor. Flip her around here. All right, so I recognize this. You guys probably do as well. At least if you've seen my other video where I showed you this on the 130 Max model in the factory. Up and down, and I think that's all it's going to be. So that's good. What else we got in here? Looks like we got some shims here. I think that's what those are. A few little pieces there, and that's almost it. So we got this guy. Okay, so that fits in there like that, I suppose. That's how it was. Not quite sure how that goes, but that goes in there, and then we got another one like that, and I suppose that goes on the other side somehow. That's the end of the box, so that's kind of nice. There's not a ton of stuff here. I think we should be able to handle this without issue. So here we go. Okay guys, I'm just reading instructions just like you would. So we got a jam nut here we got to loosen off. I guess before I horse around too much, better double check it's all the way at the bottom. Okay, now it is. There we go. Okay, that's loose. There's a spring in here that's got to come out. There we go. Okay, what do we got? Step 1, step 2, check, check. Step 3, remove the spring pin. I don't know, is that what that is? Using a pin punch or a nail, tap out the spring with a hammer. Spring pin, rather, with a hammer. I think I got her there. All right, who's gonna catch this? I think that's it. This is bottoming out. I gotta get a nail, I think. Yep. Plan C. There it is. Whoa. Step 4, this should pull off. Is that right? Hey, look at that. So I should probably mention what you just saw me do was specific to the HM130 Max sawmill. Now, if you were to go a little bit further here, you'll notice the disassembly for the HM130 model, which is slightly different, starts on page 5. So obviously I'm skipping that part. And we're back to the assembly. So next thing, here we go. So this next part involves all those shims that I opened up out of the box. There's 2 different sizes of shims. So there's that one, and then there's this one. Now, out of those 2 different sizes of shims, each size has 3 different thicknesses. Thickest to thinnest, thickest to thinnest. We're gonna take the thick one, mix it up with 2 thin ones, as you guys can see here, and this is all in the manual. And then I'm gonna apply that right up there. And what that's gonna do, in addition to other shims right where my thumb is, that's gonna help to center the center of the shaft with the center of the motor, which is going to drive this unit. So that's gonna be a bit of trial and error, I'm sure, but in the manual here, and I'm on page 7, it talks all about it. They talk about holding these shims in place with some Scotch tape just while you get the actual the motor unit and slide it over top. I don't have any Scotch tape out here, and so I'm just going to use these zip ties for now. And we're just going to just put it on there enough to hold it. Okay, we're in business. No reward without a bit of struggle, right? There we go. We got the shims on. Let's put the actual power unit on there. Just before I put this main piece onto the sawmill here, I just want to show you guys what I'm doing, and this is outlined in the manual as well. So you would have seen one of these gears. Now this gear I'm going to put onto, can you guys see that shaft there? There is a keyway, that one right there. There's also a keyway on this shaft. I need to line them up, and then I'm going to put this little piece in here. What do you call that? Key, I guess. So we'll get that on there. You see the gear down in there, and you can see the opening, the keyway. Here's the key that I'm going to fit in there, and the page I'm referring to in the back is page 14. You can see exactly what's taking place. There's the gear sliding over the shaft. There's the key going into that keyway. That's what I got to do first before I put this onto the actual sawmill. And so let's see if we can get this into place. Just make sure you put it the right way. It shows you a picture there. And so let me make sure I'm paying attention here. There we go. Come on now. Come on now. All right, a few minutes later, a bit of persuasion, we got it in there. There's 2 set screws here. All right, guys, well, in just a minute, I'm gonna take this gear and it's gonna go over the shaft like so. And you guys will notice there's a hole right there and there's a hole right there. I'm gonna try to line it up so that I can put a pin through that eventually. Now this gear will be sitting on the inside of this piece like so. And so what I'm gonna do is that's gonna be like that, and then that whole motor contraption will sit right here. I got that gear in that white piece over top. And we'll try to get it lined up. I think that's the way to go right there. That's definitely much easier. The holes are actually lined up. That's actually perfect right there. So I'd say that's the way to go. And now I'm going to use the set screws here and get things aligned. Obviously I need to put a pin through there as well. All right, we're going to put the pin in place now. You guys can see the pin right here. So that's got to go in between the lift mechanism and the actual sawmill once the holes are aligned. I think that's just about got it. Just going to use a nail to make sure that it is lined up. Yep, that's good. And last step for me, I'm just tightening up these set screws. Then I'll tighten the jam nuts that are over top of them. And I think we're in business. Now keep in mind here, to take the slack out of the up and down mechanism here, I added additional shims where it seemed like it needed it. Keeping in mind I'm trying to make the alignment here in perfect straight line. All right, we're on page 10 if you're following along here. Goes together nicely. Good. And we just got a hooker to the battery. Well guys, we're all buttoned up here. Let's just pull it down to this end and we'll see how this thing works. So you guys can see it blends in quite nicely. Unless you knew I just installed it, you'd assume it came like this. Nice controls right here, right where the lever would have been, or the crank rather. And let's give her a go. So there's up. And if you guys want to see approximately how fast it's going, that's giving you a good idea there. There's down. And just have a look at the scale again. Let's just see how precise we can be here. So that's like one click. And if you guys watch how I'm pressing there, right? So I would say you can be pretty precise here. I don't foresee any issues with that at all. Keep in mind, I'm typically going based on a 1/4 inch here, and each press of that switch is less than a 1/4 by quite a bit. I'd say it's like, gee, maybe 1/8 of an inch per press, probably a bit less actually. So that's pretty good. And you guys can see the only wire that I probably will button up is this one right here. This is the wire that's coming from the unit. It goes in there quite nicely with my 12-volt battery, which is just the starting battery for my HM130 Max. The other wiring, like this you see here, this has nothing to do with what I just installed. This is for my laser, which if you guys are interested in seeing the laser installs, and I have 2 actually, be sure to check out my other videos. And I'll just turn on my laser here so you guys can see what I mean there. You guys see the laser over there? Likewise, there's a laser right here. So that's what that wire right there is for. The other wires obviously just got installed today. Probably button them up, something like that, and we'll call that good. So I think that's pretty impressive. If you guys have a look here, I think that's gonna be a real game changer. And I hate to overuse that word, but the truth is, if you're out here sawing for a long period of time, you know, several hours in a day, you're getting a bit sore with the right shoulder. And this is especially true, I find, with friends and family who come out to use this. And maybe they're getting up there in age, maybe they have some underlying issues with their arms, and so having this will be a nice addition. And the 12-volt battery, which starts the engine's always there, so it's not like I had to add anything else special. So that's it, guys. There's the Woodland Mills power head. I'm looking forward to using this, and so make sure you come back next time. I'll be sure to be using it because I need more lumber for the pirate ship to get those apprentice pirates up onto the high seas, because let's face it, it's getting colder and those high seas are about to freeze. So with that in mind, guys, you all take care out there. Get out, do some sawing if you can. If you have any questions at all about this unit, put it down below. And also, as a reminder, I did put out some merchandise in my YouTube store. If you're interested, great. If not, well, I appreciate the support anyways. Guys, take care, be well, see you next time.